Good day. I'm on another training hike today. Same trail, similar temperature, just barely above freezing today when I started, but we have a beautiful, mostly blue sky. The sun is quite warm. I'm feeling considerably warmer with the same clothing than I did in my first video. Continuing with the topic that I started in my first video, one of the decisions that I've made for this hike for myself is that I will be hiking northbound. I'll be a no-bow, as they call it. So starting at the Mexican border and hiking north to the Canadian border. Also, I will be starting solo. I don't have any family, friends, or acquaintances starting with me, but solo is an interesting term given that the Pacific Crest Trail Association, the primary governing body for this trail, issues 50 permits per day during the months of March, April, and May. So, yes, solo. I'll be all alone with 49 other people on the day I start and hundreds of others in what's commonly referred to as a bubble. So all of these hikers get started in similar time frames. Many of them, not all, but many of them have the intention of through hiking, but it doesn't take very long and reality begins to set in. People decide this isn't what they were expecting. Maybe family emergencies or even homesickness comes up, or injuries come up. There's any number of reasons that people don't accomplish their initial goal of achieving a through hike. The statistics vary widely. Nobody really knows for sure what the count is, but I've heard anywhere from 15% to 30% of individuals that intended to through hike actually make it for the whole trail. I'm intending to be one of those. So another topic that I touched on very briefly in my first video has to do with safety. So I mentioned rattlesnakes and how I'm thinking about that. Another topic, safety topic, that I have done a lot of thinking about and preparing for is not getting lost. So I'm convinced that years ago, consumer-facing GPS was invented just for me. It was well known that when I was out driving, I could get lost at any given time. Even pulling into a gas station along a route, filling up, leaving the gas station, it was not impossible for me to go the wrong way out of the gas station and have to figure out where I was and what was going on. GPS has been a godsend for me, keeping me from getting lost most days to only getting lost occasionally now. So hiking a long trail that I'm unfamiliar with, and on occasion will be days from civilization with limited food, possibly limited water, I'm determined to not get lost. So I have a variety of technology solutions to help me with this. First off, I have an app on my phone called Far Out. Back when I first started watching YouTube videos about the PCT, this app was called Gut Hook. It got purchased or taken over, however that went, commercialized, and is now the Far Out app. I haven't used it on a hike yet, but it does look like they've done a very good job of enhancing it and making it work for hikers. So, the Far Out app uses GPS on my phone, whether I have cell connection or not, and it has the trail offline. So again, if I have no cell connection, I can still see the trail and I can see where I am on the trail. So the Far Out app will be my primary means of knowing where I am and that I'm on the trail where I expect to be at all times. I'm anticipating getting started that first day. I'll probably be checking the app every minute to make sure I'm not already lost. Hopefully, as time goes on and I get more experience and more comfortable, maybe I'll check it a few times a day. It does give information on water sources and campsites, so there's other reasons to be looking at the app, but knowing that you're on trail is a huge benefit. Another piece of technology that will be assisting my trip is a Garmin InReach Mini. That's a small satellite-enabled satellite communication device that clips onto the outside of your backpack. It talks to the GPS satellites, and about every 10 minutes it pings out my location to the Garmin website, so family and friends can follow along my trip. They'll see exactly where I was every 10 minutes. When you step back from that trail a little bit, it makes it look like an actual walking path. It's quite interesting to see. So, in addition to pinging out my location, were I to get lost and were my phone to be broken or dead battery, the Garmin has the ability to help me get back to trail, or at least know where I am in the grand scheme of things, even if I'm not sure where the trail is. So for this trip, and for the first time for me, I have a second level of redundancy. I purchased a Garmin Fenix 7 Solar watch that has mapping capabilities on it. So I've already downloaded maps of the Pacific Crest Trail to my watch. It has GPS built in, so should I be unable to find the trail with either my phone or my InReach Mini, I can power up the satellite receivers on my watch, and it will plot my position, my current position, and show me where the trail is. So I'm pretty comfortable that I won't be lost, dangerously lost, ever on this trail. If I do get lost, which many people do on occasion, it should be just for a very short period. It's always frustrating to have to backtrack a mile or two if you just made the wrong decision at a trail branch, but in the grand scheme of things, that's pretty reasonable. So one aspect of hiking solo with a number of other people ahead of me and behind me is that I will, throughout the course of the day and days and weeks, I will meet many other hikers, some of which will be going considerably faster than me, putting in more miles than I do. Some will be doing fewer miles than me, and some will be doing a similar number of miles. The people that are doing similar miles, you tend to get to know. You're not necessarily hiking side by side with them, but you'll see them at various points throughout the day as people take breaks at different points of time. But maybe towards the end of the day, it might be common to end up at the same campsite as some people. You will inevitably make friends with some people that you're hiking near, seeing each day. It's pretty common for small groups of people that are enjoying each other's company, sharing their stories from the trail, getting to know each other. It's common for them to choose to hike together a little more intentionally. So that small group that will stay together, loosely together, might be for a few days, might be for a week or a month. Sometimes it's for the remainder of the trail. It all depends on everybody's goals and how their hike is going. So that small group is commonly referred to as a trail family, or tramily for short. My success on this trail is not predicated on being part of a tramily. If I end up hiking more or less solo the whole trip, that'll be okay. If I meet a group of people that enhances my time on trail and they're open to staying together for some period of time, I'd be happy to be a part of a tramline. That'll be something that the trail will determine as I get going. One aspect of a tramily, though, that I am intentional about is that when I get to the Sierra Nevada mountain range in California, there is some more physical risk crossing that part of the trail alone. So I am intending, if I don't have a tramily by the time I get to the town of Kennedy Meadows on the south side of the mountain range, I will find a group that I can accomplish that section of trail with for safety purposes. It just helps to have people nearby. Again, not necessarily walking side by side, but having people nearby so that if anyone in the group has an injury or has some other problem, they have support to help get them out, get them to safety, or even worst case, calling in a rescue team if they're injured to the point where they can't continue their hike. So all but the Sierra, I'm open to being in a tramily or different tramilies. Sometimes they change along the way. But if it doesn't work out, if it's not right for me, then I'll hike solo, with the exception of the Sierras. I'll definitely be with people on that section. So one final topic for today is YouTube. It's probably pretty evident by now that I'm not an accomplished YouTube video producer. I have never published anything on YouTube. I didn't have a channel. I had no interest in being an influencer. All of that seems like too much work and not something that matches my personality. I'm choosing to do YouTube this time for myself and for family and friends. Anyone else that takes an interest.